Hello, this is Doug Deist with SignTraker Technologies. Today we're going to talk about a new feature within SignTraker, which is related to managing order exception. So the first thing we should probably do is define what an exception actually is. And generally, it's anything that prevents you from doing what you intend to be doing. If it's an installation, removal, or some other service, whatever it is, it's just not what you expected. And it's typically something you need to keep track of and optionally bill for. So things like this might be on an installation arriving at the job site. You can't get in because there's a gate code and they didn't give it to you. So you might want to charge a trip charge, and you still have to do the installation later. Um, or maybe doing a removal, very common. You show up to do the removal and the post is missing. So where is it? Is it in the garage? Did the homeowner take it away? Whatever. But you need to make a note. You need to resolve it. Um, and how these are resolved, first, of course, the installer notes the exception at the time he's trying to perform the service. And then once that's recorded, the dispatcher will assign the exception to someone for investigation. So a lot of times it's maybe a customer service rep or yourself. You just call up the agent to find out what really happened with that post or gate code or what have you. And then choosing optionally a billable service type to charge the agent for the effort or the problem or the resolution if that's really warranted. Um, Now, for setting up items for exception management, you want to create service types for things you would probably want to bill for. A lot of these are already done. They exist in SignTraker, things like trip charge or lost post. Um, Make sure the service is enabled, which makes it visible to you on the exception screen. We'll show that to you. But disable the service for your new installations and for your services so that these items don't appear on your agent ordering screens. And this is kind of what it looks like. Notice in the leftmost column it says enable here. That means it's enabled for you to choose. Those other two columns turn it on or off for visibility with your agent. So you want to leave those turned off. So let's take a look and see how this works. I'm going to jump over to Real Estate Sign Tracker. This is a real company, but we have a test case order in here. I'm logged in as myself as super user. So you can see there's already some exceptions that are being managed here. And in fact, if we take a look at all of them that are going on here, you can see this feature's already been being used pretty heavily already by this account. But in our case, what we're going to do is we're going to use a um, a removal exercise as our test case. So there's a bunch of removals getting done here. I happen to know that the removal I'm concerned with is with our illustrious top-selling agent, say our agent right here. This job has been assigned to Adrian Smith. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to impersonate Adrian so you can get an idea of how he would be managing this. So I'm going to log in as Adrian. And of course, this would be done on a mobile phone as well, or a tablet or what have you, but we're using desktop because it's a little easier to see. So here we are. I'm going to take a look at those removals. And let's say we've rolled up to uh, this job for Sarah Agent. It's at 31 South Summit Avenue, and we want to do the removal here. So you can see on the removal order, we have a photo of the original installation. So that's what we're looking for. We're trying to do a post removal, and we're looking for this post. Now, of course, we get there, and in this case, maybe we don't see the post. It's just not there. So we're not going to confirm this removal because we haven't done it, really, but we're going to record an exception. And we're simply going to type in here what we did. Looked for the post. Maybe we looked on the side of the house and rear yard. No sign of it. So what this does now, creates a note on the order. And if we wanted to, or we would actually have to take a picture of this for the sake of our exercise, I'm going to take a photo here, and I'm just going to choose example house here, put it right in here. And then we're going to save that. And since we can't do anything further with this, we're going to go back to our removals. Adrian's going to go back and continue his work. Back on our dashboard, we see previously we did have 3 exceptions to manage. Now we have 4. So let's take a look at that. And there is our exception we just did for Sarah Agent. what is the problem? Well, we look for the post on the side and rear yard, no sign of it. That's exactly what Teladrian had put in there. We can take a look at what Teladrian saw, which was there's a yard, no post in it. And so first thing we probably want to do is, or first thing we do have to do is assign this to someone for resolution. So we're going to assign this to our assign administrator, for example, to call the agent, understand what happened to this post, right? Now, let's say we hear back from Sarah agent and she says, "Oh yeah, you know what? The house actually closed a month ago. I should have called you earlier, but I forgot." That's what always happens, right? So most of the time in the past, you just kind of have to let this fly. But now what we're going to do is we're going to choose to resolve this, and we're going to say the resolution is spoke with the agent. She neglected to call in the removal. Now, in that case, she's really responsible for that post. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add, replace the damaged or lost post and resolve that. And I see it's been taken off of our screen, and that post now becomes a billable item to Sarah agent. So the next time she wants to buy something, if she's on prepay, she'll have to pay for it. If she's a credit customer, it'll be sent over to your QuickBooks and you can collect the money later. Now, just to recap that, let's go back and review what we have here. An exception can be recorded on any order. The exceptions, once recorded, become part of that order history. Okay, and the billing for the exception depends on the status of the order. So, for example, if the order is not yet installed, in the case, for example, you're going to go put the installation in and you can't get in because it's gated. If you were to resolve that by adding a trip charge, that trip charge gets added to that order because the billing for that order isn't completed until you install it. If you have the order pending removal, if it's installed or pending removal, anything that's billable that you add creates a new service order. That's because the original installation order has already been closed, right? So if you install an order, that's when SignTraker says it's done. They get billed, it's closed. Providing a post or doing some other service after the fact is essentially a new service. And lastly, just to get the most out of this, make sure that your installers, train them to not to confirm installations or removals or other services if they didn't actually do them. We've noticed that in the past that happens a lot of times. They come up to the house and they're looking to remove the post. It's not there. They go, "Oh, this must be done." So they click remove. They didn't actually remove it. And if they check that box, your client will argue, "Well, your installer said he took it away. I never lost it." Record the exception first because that leaves the order available to you as a dispatcher for resolution later. So with this new methodology, you can keep track of your exceptions on orders. You can keep track of how many you're getting, who seems to be a common offender. If Sarah agent's getting a lot of them, you might have to, evaluate your pricing for Sarah agent, things like this. If you have any questions on how to use the new managing service exceptions, give us a call or just shoot us an email at info@signtracker.com.